Screen right now. I think it bears a slight resize because it's not showing fully, but now it is. Yeah, I have no art talent either, don't worry. I'm fairly certain I'm not gonna do anything outstanding graphics-wise, because as I kinda mentioned, the only part of that I actually drew was the background, the Pepsi mic picture. And everything else was just pre-rendered stuff that came with GameMaker, but as I said, enough of these pleasantries. Let's begin the adventure. Yeah, this is gonna be an issue, I think. The fact that this game doesn't really agree with a lot of emulators, so I need to go into the video plugin stuff and adjust things to get it to run at a reasonable rate. Yeah, apparently we don't have enough space to save, which is a shame, but, you know, we have save states, so that's not really an issue. But this was made by Chemco. Yeah, this is the reason why I need to adjust the thingy. And ostensibly close as many apps as possible before I run it, because if I don't do that, this shit happens. But luckily there is a fix for it, even though it screws up the graphics sometimes, and by sometimes I mean almost every occasion. So I ended up missing some of this text crawl. But the gist of it is that after the original Shadowgate, everyone was happy, but that also meant that they didn't pay attention to more evil rising up around them. And now this road, which apparently joins two major lands, is filled with blackguards and footpads and thieves, bandits and thieves. And now someone's going to pay the price because of this. Yeah, I don't know. You know, call me a renegade of the original platformer formula, but I didn't really enjoy Thousand Year Door all that. No, not Thousand Year Door. Super Paper Mario all that much. I enjoyed Thousand Year Door a lot, though. Okay. Also, I'm trying to resize this thing so that the whole oh god, the whole thing can fit on screen, and suddenly have the feeling yeah, you'll never guess what just happened, but you might have heard that sound just then. Apparently if I let the whole text crawl, introductory text crawl play out, it crashes. So let's avoid that in future. Yeah, I don't care. So let's just press start to get past that thing and get to the title screen. I don't know if turning on the graphics fix is gonna do anything. Nope, apparently not. Fortunately though, it is a pretty short title screen. Oh god. No, I'm pretty sure the sound isn't supposed to be this choppy, but, you know, this game always has the issue when it's being emulated. So we could of course play in Spanish, that would be great, but now we're gonna play in English. And I do have a few saved games from my previous experience with this. But let's, you know, do the proper thing and start a new game. We don't have enough space to save, but as I said, that's not gonna be a problem because I am using save states. Yeah, the default one. Oh god. And this, fortunately though, the choppiness only extends to the cutscenes. And I'm pretty sure I have the graphics thing that's supposed to fix this on. No, I don't. And when I do turn it on, it doesn't really do anything. But this is a fairly short intro, so let's just bear with it. Or maybe witness as it threatens to crash. Maybe that's also an option. Don't enable fog. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to opt for another option. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, just gonna press start and A frantically until it skips this. Because I can't watch it on this format, I seriously can't. However, yeah, I'm just gonna pause this right here and bear with me for a few moments as I come up with an alternative for that intro there. Okay, so now I'm going to go opt for the perfectly legitimate option of getting this intro through different means, thanks to our old friend Flanman Games here. You know, that old contributor to the stream. Okay, here we go. So intro at acceptable speed now. I'm guessing this is being run off an actual N64 because I have not once seen this game emulated properly. Also, I don't know why, but this seems to happen mostly in cutscenes and sometimes the pause menu. Which, thankfully, doesn't make up too much of the game. But indeed, that guy, who you can see right now in the back of the wagon, is us. We are no longer Lord Jer, the hero of the first Shadowgate. Now we're this little halfling dude called Del Cottonwood, who was apparently traveling on that wagon. But then this happened, and we are being taken to this place, which of course just so happens to be where Shadowgate is, the actual castle. Even though I don't think we're actually going to go into the castle over the course of this game. So that was the intro, at a not completely terrible speed. Unfortunately, now it's going to be time for the game itself. So, thrills abound. Oops. Oh, bollocks. Well, guess what? I accidentally hit the start key. The reset key, that is, again. So now we get to sit through a few more seconds of intros again, as I skip them all. Ah, here we go. The actual game begins. As we, Del, are carried into the dungeon by this dungeon keeper man. And no, this isn't choppy, this is the actual speed at which the game plays. This little scene just takes quite a bit longer than you would expect, but It'll be over soon enough. Don't know how hard he slammed us on the ground to make that noise, but now we're just in the cell. Yep, we are in fact a halfling. I don't know if in the context, within the context of this game, that means like we're a half-breed or we're a conventional halfling, which means we're just like a dwarf. We're half the size of a human, hence the name halfling. Not quite certain about that, but now we are in control. Looking around our cell. So we can rattle the cell door to no avail, but we can also check out this guy next to our cell. He's asleep, so let's leave him alone. Ah, fuck it, let's disturb him. Yep, this is Agar the Magician, who apparently recognizes us, Del Cottonwood. Yep, Del. We were indeed traveling with a caravan when we were attacked. And apparently we're lucky to be alive. And wouldn't you know it, here comes this guy again. Bringing us the best rendered food in the game. And this guy really doesn't like us, huh? Says he would have thrown us into the sewers long ago. I wonder if that's an indication of anything to come in the future. And Agar here says we're within a castle. He says we're inside Castle Shadowgate, but I don't think we're inside the actual castle. If anything, we're in the burg that surrounds it. Apparently there are magic items made by the sorcerer Lakmir, who you might remember from the first game. Hidden here, in one of the 4 towers. Is one of these a Tower of Trials? Spoiler alert, it is. But nobody can get in. Apparently this guy tried to, but you ended up with him in the dungeon. So let's go ahead and enjoy our last meal, why not? The meat of some kind of beast. No idea which, but holy shit, we eat fast. And apparently we gag on the greasy meat. We don't let the greasiness stop us from just wolfing it down, but now we have a bone with a strong pointed end. I wonder if that's going to come in handy at all. So let's have a lie down in this straw. Except it's damp, so let's check what's under it. And sure enough, of course there's a grate. With the sewer below. Why they would make this place into a cell, I don't know, but let's open the lid, sure. Oh, but we can't. We're too weak and we can't get a good enough grip, so... So let's go into our inventory, which is opened with the B button, and use the bone we just got. Yep, we can see the dark waters of the sewer below us, and get down there, sure enough. One thing I do like about this game, though, is the music. It's fairly nice for a game of this sort. In fact, I'm going to... oops. Go into the option menu and increase the volume. Because I do like it, I will say. And also I think I'm gonna go ahead and save its state here in case anything happens. I think turning on the graphics thing which makes the game look kind of fucked up, but not really. Will help us get through the navigate the menu faster, but oh god. Oh well, I don't know. Yeah, this kind of makes the game look messed up. So I guess never mind, I'm gonna keep it closed for now. So we fell down here. There is a plank and a bottle behind this grate over here, which we will never get. As well as 3 passageways. So let's go exploring already. Oh, what's this? Depth of the underground lake, which surprises and scares us. So let's go right ahead and take a dive. Or not. Let's shriek as the apparition appears. Okay, we're still alive, so let's take a dive, as I said. Nope. Plunge into the reeking waters. This lake is quite deep, it seems, and our lungs begin to burn as we continue to sink. And death quickly follows. So let's go ahead and not drown now, but instead look around and see this very inconspicuous piece of paper here. An ancient map. I don't really see how someone who's just started the game is expected to find this tiny thing on this tiny platform, but it's ours now, so it's all good. There's also a hole here, a narrow opening, which we will never go into. Also this place, with iron bars, one of which we can pry loose. And again though, the opening is not big enough for us to squeeze through, so before we check out the other gateways, let us check out this place with the skeleton. Looks very inviting. I wonder why this guy died. Someone else tried to escape the dungeon, so let's join him. Well, we get a slightly different death message. Apparently the grinning skull of the skeleton is the only one to see our demise. But that was that, so let's not go into the deep water. We have nothing, we only have an iron bar, a map and a bone, and we can carry a lot more. So let's see, let's check out this passageway, why not? Well, there's a wall right here. A high wall, which we can climb apparently, but not right now, since there are no handholds. So instead let's check out the middle passage, which leads into this place. Just a small mid-room, I suppose. Which leads into this place, which has a pillar with large cracks in its base. So of course what we do is take our iron bar and slam the base of the pillar. And then push it ourselves. And now we've made ourselves a nifty little bridge. And sure enough, there's a couple of things here. A parchment called journal. And a skeleton, presumably that of the ghost, which we saw just a little while ago. So let's check out that thing we just picked up, why not? It's here in the book section of the inventory. Wow, what a journal. Apparently something was found in the ground, which the people who found it can be reached, but they have a good feeling about it anyway. But what lies beyond? Another passageway. with a door behind it. Could this be our escape route? Nope, it's locked and can't be opened. However, we do get this little place here with a pickaxe, which we can take. The wall has been smashed in. Someone might have been looking for something, but I guess they didn't find it. And at the far end of this hallway, there's another locked door, so not much we can do with that now. Also, the draw distance and the way it's rendered in this emulator is kind of weird. But hey, not really complaining about that. So having acquired that handy pickaxe, let us backtrack slightly. To the place with the 3 doors. Go through this one again. And remember this wall. Well, apparently we're going to use this pickaxe to scale the wall. Yep, working it real good there. I don't know, that seems like you could have jumped it, but I don't know. Maybe elves halflings just aren't very good at jumping. And sure enough, above us I said, there's a ceiling which we might be able to break through to escape. And I think we can use our pickaxe to break through this thing. With all those neatly falling rocks. And the hole which we're somehow able to climb. So we've made it into the first tower, yes. This is indeed one of the towers that Agar mentioned. I guess we can go back into the sewers that way. But that's not what we want. Let us instead have a look around. Maybe at the barrels. Is there anything in here? Nope. Sounds empty apparently. So let us see what the rest of this place holds for us. Oh, apparently mice. Quite fast, but they're mice. Apparently there's nothing significant on these shelves. There is, however, this thing. A coiled length of frayed rope in the corner. Which we wisely assume it might come in handy, so we steal it. It's not like there's anywhere around to protect this stuff. Also a bunch of lumber. A bunch of very square lumber, but apparently it's an old pile that lies rotting on the floor and nothing else useful, so let's abandon this place. So over in this room across the hall we have a rocking horse with a child's laugh when we interact with it. Also this small thing which looks kind of like a chest, I don't know. Ooh, and a statue of a fairy. Sure, we'll take the fairy statue. Nothing else on the shelves, so... Another chest that we can't open. Maybe they're just tiny shelves, I don't know. Table with nothing suspicious on it. A couple of beds, one of them smaller than the other, conspicuously so. As our character notes. One of them very small and one of them very large. And a single slipper. Can we take it? Sure. But some unseen force holds it to the table, so we can't take it, so... Guess there's nothing else in here now. Also Night Lizard Man. Some stairs at the end of the hallway, but why not? Let's check out this door first. Leads into a passageway to a different room, but it's locked. So let's go upstairs and see what there is here. An area with different music is the answer. And now we are in the foyer of this tower. One of the 4 towers, and apparently a cat just jumped off the chandelier and ran off. That's a nice background event. In the foyer there's also this other statue of an elf. So let's go ahead and start building a little sculpture collection. Also a desk. Large ornate desks which has drawers, but apparently we can't examine them. And a door with a dragon crest on it. Which apparently is barred by some strange force. Not just a lock or anything, but some strange force. So can we leave the tower? We cannot. So might as well explore deeper into this place. Oh, what's this? Why? If it isn't... Yep, Del Cottonwood, that is us. We would do well to remember that name. And apparently this is the wizard Lakmir, who helped out Jer in the first game. And this is the Tower of Disciples. Will we follow the wide path or the narrow path? He's going to bring this up quite a few times over the course of the game. And he will see us next in the Tower of Lakmir. That's a bit egotistical to have a tower and leave that to yourself, but of course if we choose the wide and easy path, we are not the one he wants, so he'll be waiting for us. Nothing else around here, so let's ignore that wizard hologram message and keep going. Into this library, apparently. Our protagonist is not very well read, it seems. And it doesn't know the language of some of these books. But we do find some of them just lying around on the table. Ooh, we have a blank book. Sure, we'll take the blank book. You can always use an extra pound to lug around. And a book called Final Battle, sure. We'll read the last Narnia book on our own time. It's exciting content. Off-Riding Dragons. Sure, we already picked up C.S. Lewis, might as well pick up Robin Hobb now. And finally, we have a book devoid of any words, which we will of course take. And over there in this corner we have a cat looking down at us, very condescendingly. Though it looks a bit more like a raccoon because of the rendering. It's kind of difficult getting the camera stuck in an angle where you can see the cat clearly, but there it is. Apparently the sheer number of books makes our head spin. So before we proceed down one of these doors... Actually, wait a moment. Oh yeah, we can have a slight view out of this place. There's a book. An ancient book falling apart. So it may fall apart at any moment, which is why we don't take it. Sure, let's have a look outside. It's not really clear, but the gaps between the weaving of the window were in fact open. But we're too big to go through the window, that tiny window there. We're not tiny enough to fit through it. But having acquired our volumes of literature, let us have a look at them. So, what's the blank book like, I wonder? Wow. Takes a lot of effort to turn the pages of a book according to this game. Yep, it sure is a blank book. And we have two of them, but we're only going to look at one, since they're both the same, I'm fairly certain. So this final battle says... mentions Jer, the hero of the first Shadowgate. The evil has triumphed, but at what cost indeed. We require great strength to turn the pages of this tome. I'm pretty sure the Warlock Lord didn't create the behemoth, he was just trying to raise it from the depths, you know. That destroyer-looking monster. Must take the mantle of hero, blah blah blah. I don't know what ragtag group of defenders are they're talking about, because I don't think they document any part of Jer's life after the first Shadowgate in any of these games. But sure enough, Lakmir helped him. With the Staff of Ages, he shot the behemoth which dragged the Warlock Lord into the depths of the earth. And apparently whoever wrote this is fairly optimistic that the horrors will end soon. Apparently that's Jer getting shot by Zeus, or whoever that is. But we're not done with reading yet. We need to find out all about riding dragons before we can move on. Men fear, but dragons do not. Clearly, dragons are smarter than... Dragons respect only the brave. That's what James Cameron told me. There is no voice alive which is more gracious with man. Well, that remains to be seen as far as I'm concerned, but... Their thoughts are deeper than our thoughts. We can't fathom the thoughts of a dragon. But thankfully that book was fairly short, so it was just dragons are the best, blah blah blah. So let's keep on exploring this library place. Oh, I'm seeing more books. I know I'm excited about that. Memorandum. That sounds like very exciting reading, a memorandum. We should indeed open a library soon. Also, can we go here to get this book, or do we need to go from the other side? I have the feeling we do. Also, I think there's something else in this room which might not be immediately visible. But which can be gotten regardless. Or maybe I'm thinking of another room, I don't know. First, let's check out this book on the floor. Artifacts of Power. Sounds like just the sort of thing we might be interested in. And of course we have Laws of Magic. Can't wait to get educated about all this stuff. Maybe I was thinking of another room. Which we shall see up ahead, I'm sure. After we've done our reading. Because gotta do that first. So what's this memorandum about? A marvelous crystal. The Dragon Keeper simply recited. The dragon's eyes is a consuming fire. The dragon's eye creates a pyre. Apparently dragon's eyes are very flammable stuff, if I am understanding this correctly. Yeah, the dragon is indeed extremely dangerous, but I guess that didn't answer what it was. Maybe it was an artifact of power. The pixie flute, But we can't unlock it. The power of the pixie flute is apparently too great for us. Must be a secret behind the use of the flute. But the guy who wrote this can't figure out how to use this magic artifact. Yep, he's having a really hard time. He's even wearing on the flute itself, but he still can't figure out how to make it work. I wonder if we'll find that at any point. That flute. So time to get educated about the laws of magic. All laws apply universally. And we should look at the magics of 3 of the 4 orders. The orders of chaos, order and life, with no regard to that of death, because apparently they hate death. Shockingly. Apparently the magic of death irreversibly taints the soul, even though it's a natural thing. And each order has a definitive way to enact its magic. Order being the precise enunciation of the written word, maybe like in the MacVenture games. Life has hand gestures, chaos uses violent gestures and guttural words. And death uses arcane rituals and force of mind. So now for some more common areas of magic. Ah, here we go, this is why. The guy couldn't use the flute, because artifacts are bestowed with magic so that everyone can use them, but since that can create complications, sometimes restrictions are made as well. Perhaps a keyword or a phrase, or a secret mechanism to make sure that only certain people can use an artifact. Apparently the Order made the Staff of Ages, specifically for Lord Jer. And the Ring of the Kingdom, apparently, is another thing which can be used to manipulate Order artifacts. The Order of Life caters their stuff to pure-hearted individuals. And magic artifacts must not be misused. Well, I think you already mentioned that, but I guess that was interesting. And we are at the top of this place now. 3 doorways to explore. First, a place with 2 little slots for things. Statue of a man with 2 empty pedestals. And we have 2 statues, but I don't know. Seems like too soon to act, based on this fairly obvious connection. So let's check out the other doors first. Well, this looks nice, this liquid sunset. We decide to take the vial. And I also find this thing. An ape-man statue on the ground. Which we are now carrying with us. Oh, and also I think I see something back there. Yep. There's something on the floor here. A report. We are now the proud owner of a piece of parchment. And sure enough, there's only one place left to explore on this floor. And that is this room, with one of the desks which falls over. And as far as I'm aware, there's no real reason or explanation for that, but it did fall over and drop this one book on the floor. Yes, a lecture hall. And this book is the speeches of Lord Jer, I guess. They were too powerful for the table to hold. But over here we also have, yep, obviously a lecture hall. A statue of a primitive man. And the Book of Orders. And seemingly no more books on the tables, but there is something down here, kind of hidden away. Hello. Some lecture notes. which are now in our possession. And also in the corner here we have a shiny golden coin with a king's face on it. That's where I'd expect to find an ancient coin. In the corner of an abandoned lecture hall. So I guess that's pretty much all that we can get from this room. So let us begin the reading of that which we have just gotten. First, this one-page report. Apparently a number of the acolytes are dabbling in chaos magic. And they're gonna have to clean up the mess they make from it. So let's check out the speeches of Lord Jer. Yeah, we've already seen this mentioned. Stuff was messed up after the first game finished. And we need to rebuild because apparently the Warlock Lord's people fucked everything up when they were still running around. Apparently Lakmir has to open Shadowgate to teach people about magic with which to fix the land. That couldn't possibly backfire. So let's rebuild Karl Torling together. That'll be fun. Editor's note. Lakmir the Timeless did in fact agree. And apparently he claimed one of its towers for his personal use. That's kind of... I don't know. Claiming a whole tower for himself seems a bit... greedy, but I don't know. Apparently the people weren't opposed to that. The One created the heavens and the earth, so let's learn about orders now. Apparently the One is the god of this world. Created the 4 orders. And sure enough, if one of the orders holds sway, and balance is lost, the world must be rebooted. The Quothra, or fairies, were the first ones on the earth. They were kind of dumb, yet weak-minded and sought only pleasures. Fairies are stupid, lazy bastards, canon. Apparently they lived alongside the 4 orders as well, who manipulated them. So the 4 could make war through the Quothra, which apparently turning these fairies into soldiers may cause the world to end. Because apparently if fairies become soldiers, the world must end. And from them came the Johira, the elves, who apparently became the chosen people. So elves are the best, canon. And King was wrong. The Great Turning began. Oh wait. The Order of Chaos tried to seek control, so the ones who should be watched, not the Order of Death. And the world ended once more. And the Johira that survived sought protection. Apparently Chaos decided, okay, we did bad, but we're gonna make things right now. The ones who hid in the plain became man. The ones in the caves became dwarves, and the northern ones became barbarians. And the swamp dwellers became fenlings. Because apparently, you know, barbarians aren't human, according to this book. But now we know the history of the world. So I think now it's fairly obvious what to do with this place, this thing. Have a man, so let's take our ape man sculpture. You know, let's slather this stupid fundy history with the evolution which Lord Richard Dawkins has so rightfully taught us with. Clearly man evolved from ape, but yep, nothing much happens. But not in this world. So we cannot be euphoric about this. We need to believe the history of the world according to Shadowgate. Because first there was a fairy and then there was an elf. And then there was a man. Yep, that was the color code. The color code. The statue order code, rather. And we're never gonna see those statues again. And I don't think we can get rid of the statues, even though we can't use them for anything. So we're stuck with them for the rest of the game. You know, thank goodness we can't be encumbered like in the original Shadowgate. But in this new area, which we've just arrived in, we have some beds. We have a bit of rope on the ceiling. Don't even know if we can get that. No, we already have a coil of rope for own anyway. And more books, of course. But first, this thing. A flute with various arcane carvings of it, which we can intuitively tell is magical. Wonder if this could be the pixie flute that guy was talking about earlier. A blank book, which we will of course take. I'm sure they'll come in handy. Can you always use that extra pound to lug around? That's how Dell keeps in shape, by taking everything that he comes across. Don't know if there's anything else in here. I don't think there is. Probably should be using a walkthrough for this, but as far as I'm aware, there's no horrible game-breaking situations like there were in the original, and I have beaten this once, so I am fairly familiar with how to get through it, but oh, I saw that texture buff there that happened for a moment, but let us add to our growing book collection with the student's diary. And whatever this is. The House of Dreslin. And once again, I don't know if there's anything here that I can use to proceed, even though I'm pretty sure I was supposed to pick something up. That wasn't a book, and I just remembered that I did, so never mind. So let us examine our newly acquired pieces of literature. Month of Aries, SW Day. I don't know if that means southwestern. Maybe a southwest position of a celestial body, I don't know. Apparently someone was caught by the Watchman. But this was under the rule of Lakmir, so I can't imagine that whatever happened to them was too bad. Yep. Week of shameful labor could be worse. Future transgressors will be made to wear the blue ring. We will find this ring later, but apparently the ring will drive a man insane. And apparently this person saw a darker side of Lakmir. He appeared from nowhere and yelled at him. Yeah, that sounds like him, alright. Lakmir is one of the greatest shitlords in video game history, as I've learned through playing the Shadowgate games. Isn't it strange that a tower with no chimney should have a fireplace, realized? So yeah, we saw a chimney in the lobby, we didn't check it out, but apparently the tower doesn't have a chimney? I don't know. As far as I'm aware, that doesn't really play into the game at any point. A grinning skull wearing a ring of blue that cried out for its brothers of red and green. Red and green rings. Well, I don't know. But we still have to learn about the House of Dreslin. After the death of the great King Arond, who... I think actually the name of the king in the Mac version of Shadowgate was Otto. But apparently that was retconned into Arond for all other versions. The succession did not proceed well. Apparently the king didn't have an heir, so he appointed Lord Ger as his successor. Well, you know, he did give him the princess's hand at the end of Shadowgate 1. So I'd say king by default here. But one family opposed the choice, rather. The Dreslins didn't like the fact that Ger was king. They were very conservative and decided to campaign against Ger. But they failed, and one of their extreme factions tried to kill him, which didn't work, but apparently Ger was evil enough to spare them. And their lands were taken away, but they were still beholden to the throne that is. And here you go, here is the coat of arms. This is actually gonna be part of a puzzle very, very late in the game. So might as well keep that in mind. But for now, it's time to backtrack. Because we have what we need to get out of this tower now, believe it or not. So let's go back to the landing. I'll tell this room. Go back to the library floor. The first room of the library, where the cat is hanging around. He's still right there, you know, looking down at us condescendingly. That sure is a cat. It's kind of distracted right now, but it will turn to face us in just a moment, I'm sure. Cat. Yep, there it is. You can barely see its eyes, but they're there. So what we're supposed to do, obviously, is step up to this place and use our pixie flute. Which makes us shrink. Apparently this is apparently this book, which we couldn't pick up before, is the monthly Rakmir. I don't know what's up with that. I'm guessing Rakmir is a bad romanization of Lakmir, but I don't know. Yep, we're small now. But we can't get out because we're too high up. So yeah, we also can't... Apparently a fall into the ledge below would also kill us, I don't know. So let's go ahead and fix this little oversight by using the flute again, which makes us get big again. Unexpectedly indeed. So what we have to do is take our coil of rope and tie it to the carving, the dragon carving, so that it reaches outside, and now we can use the flute to shrink. And use this rope to descend into the yard below. Look at these leaves, they're quite huge, aren't they? So now that we're down here, we can use the flute again to regain our original size. Which makes us end up in a graveyard. No, I don't think the cat will do anything, really. Don't think we can shrink at any other point in the game other than those two places. So we got some old graves here. Charming. Very old grapes all around. Not much else to be said about them. But what's at the end of this place? A crow with something in its mouth, which it dropped, but then it disappeared. Spoiler alert, we're never going to have anything to do with that crow. Which leads me to believe that that was part of a puzzle they were planning to have in the game but couldn't figure out how to do properly, so they just left it in as an aesthetic thing. Maybe it was a mouse actually, I don't know. Maybe that could have been it too. It actually didn't cross my mind until a couple of moments ago, but I can rip out the boards of this thing to expose this gravestone, which apparently unsettles us. Can we go this way? No, we can't go through this other door because it's locked. But we can go into this cathedral. Apparently they worship the what the hell is this thing? A symbol of the One. So they worship a character from the Matrix. And we also have a bottle of dragon tears. Of course we'll take them. Actually, I think you can try sampling some of the stuff that you find in the bottles over the course of the game. Like if we drink from the liquid sunset, we begin to feel woozy and wobbly. And now we get to play with this effect for a little while. But if we drink from the dragon tears, the aches and pains of our recent ordeal seem to evaporate, and we are invigorated. Well, let's have another look around the place before we go doing anything too rash. If we head downstairs here, we found a couple of keys, one of them on the key holder, the key rack. We hope to one day use this key, yes, isn't that the truth? And one on the ground. Pretty sure one of the bottles kills us, but haven't found that one yet. We also find this crowbar here, so now this can be just like Half-Life. No, the dragon tears actually help us, but... So here's this door. I wonder if we can use any of our keys to unlock it. No, I suppose not. Let's check out what's in this room. Might be interesting. Got a couple of sarcophagi here. A coffin. If we open the lid, we find mice, which go through the walls and then disappear. And we get another symbol. And in this coffin, it's unlocked, but fortunately we do have the skull key, which opens the lock and lets us see this corpse right here. Apparently she's holding something called a family diary, which, yep, we can't take because the corpse is holding onto it too tightly with its rigor mortis and such. That is an old woman inside the coffin we have just disturbed. And now we're gonna leave it like that because we're too lazy to do anything about it. So now let's check out what's up on this little scaffolding here on the side. The answer is a nail. A chain secured by a nail which connects to a ladder. So let's use our crowbar to remove the nail. And cause the magic of gravity to work. So we could go up the stairs now, but there's no indication that you have to do this. Or the logic behind it, but we need to before go downstairs and pick up the nail, which yes, is still around. Because we will need it before too long. So now the nail is ours, hooray. And now we can see what's up these stairs. The answer being a hatch. So now we're on the roof of the church. There's a crow right there, and there's quite a lot of holes around here. So I'm sure it's gonna be perfectly safe to just step ahead and... Nope. Gravity has taken us over and we plummet. We hit the ground with a meaty thud and we die. So let's try to avoid the holes this time. We could take the long route, which has less holes, but we're gonna take the short route because fuck it. And we're trying to get to this window right here. Because while going through the window, we end up here in the Tower of Lakmir. I don't think there's anything in this first room. Don't think anyone's gonna fix the roof, since this place is in control of thieves and bandits, and they're not really concerned with the upkeep of the place, I don't think. Okay, so let's check out what's in these rooms. Mice is the answer. Also a bit of a bottle with oil, apparently that's what this is. Don't know if it's cooking oil or anything like that, but apparently it almost slips through our fingers. We also have a heavy iron pot, which we can't carry, even though we can carry a lot more stuff. Cover of the barrel, which hides the fact that this is a water barrel. So this is sort of washing up room. Maybe a kitchen too, I don't know. But not much we can do in there right now. If we go here, however, we shall find this dining room. This giant table. It could sit perhaps 12 people. I think it could sit a few more, since, you know, depending on how much room we were willing to give up for each person, it looks like at least 3 people can sit on each end of it. Maybe 4 if they're children, I don't know. So in this fireplace we have useless stuff apparently, and also a fire burning with a magical color, which we find amusing or astonishing, since it's in a deserted tower. That's nice. And a strange symbol behind it, which we will need to remember. I guess the people from the mic lore are getting the breaking into the big time with Slow Beef and Super Great Friend and such, saying their names on stream. That's clearly the greatest dream of anyone. But it doesn't look like there's anything in this room. And I genuinely believe there's nothing there, since this game has a lot of stuff like that. And here's the old bastard Lakmir, come to talk to us some more. Yep, we didn't indeed choose a narrow path. And here in the Tower of Lakmir, which I totally didn't name after myself for an ego trip. Various devices, apparently very private places as well. Tests of will and heart. A gift and a task. Yep, apparently the task is to find the gift. So I might as well get started. And indeed we've made it to the foyer of the tower. Can't go outside though. Can't go outside this way, and apparently this pipes aren't like anything we've ever seen before, because there weren't ventilation systems in Yule times. And I failed to see AB's second message until just now. So we've ended up in this new hallway. With 2 dead ends. Very productive. 2 doors on the way down. First, let's check out what's behind these doors, because the answer is apparently offices. Here we got a long, thick strand of hair, which we will of course take. We're amazed by the size of that hair, but still taking it. And the receipt. And another book, an acolyte's diary. Apparently we feel a little guilty when putting that away, but we take it anyway. So let's check out what these reading bits can do for us. Apparently someone bought a unicorn hoof, some fairy wings, spider eyes, a giant hair, a very small rock and an extract of newt. You know, if you paid for a very small rock, I think you got ripped off, but apparently all that cost 150 gold. And an acolyte is worried about Lakmir, because apparently he's got quite a bit on his shoulders with the whole kingdom rebuilding business. Was summoned to the royal chambers in Gwynethil. Apparently Jer died and Lakmir outlived him. That's a bit unexpected. King Jer to kill several years ago. And Lakmir said like, oh god, my body is dying, so I'm just gonna be aloof now, I guess. He's called Lakmir the Timeless. That's the first time I've ever heard that. But apparently no one lives forever, so he needs to be less arrogant. Yeah, maybe it's RPG gold, but this isn't RPG land. Things work differently here. This is adventure game land, and 150 gold is a lot in adventure game land. Fortunately though, we do have some magical elixir volumes here. As well as this little jug. An ornate mug, rather. It looks more like a pitcher or a jug, but I don't know. Might need a cup like this, I don't know. And something on the floor. An official's article. Apparently we debated a lot and then we took it. But anyway. Let's learn about magical elixirs. Apparently, yeah, this one book will be used to educate everyone about the lost art of potion making. The concoction known as Dragon Tears is apparently an elixir. We have some of that. Don't think there's... well, there's 2 types of coins, but they're more like copper and bronze. And only one of them is actually important, so... Apparently 1 part real dragon tears and 1 part pristine water. Which results in diluted dragon tears, really. And indeed, dragon tears have a huge regenerative restorative property. Cleanses tainted and cursed souls. So yeah, we'll have to remember that. It counters magic, and it cleanses cursed souls. And when it's mixed with other liquids, it can greatly increase their efficiency. Poison may become more deadly or a healing potion more potent, and even water can become more watery. But since it's so rare, we shouldn't abuse it. And the official says he requested an additional key. because they lost their original, and now they're taking care to keep the key within this room when it's not being used. And sure enough, if we look here, the key is indeed in this room. That was kind of the hint to look in this little nook for this key, which we'll need. So having explored these two rooms, let's continue our descent into this place. Oh, but the door won't open because it's rusted. What shall we do? Let's oil it up. Look at that animation. So now that the door's been oiled up, now it'll open. We have a pipe, which makes a clanging noise. And another room here. In what I think is a basement. More pipes all around. And a door here. Nothing useful in this mechanism, but this door does have an object shaped like a star, well, part of a star, which we will take. The door fails to open though. But we did see the shape of that crest earlier in this tower. So let's go ahead and backtrack until we get to the place where we saw it. And actually there's another stop we'll have to make along the way. To answer the question, is water more watery? I'm actually a bit surprised that Lakmir hasn't appeared again to say something irreverent, but before we go back to the dining room, which is where the crest shape was, let's stop by the barrel. There are a few creatures that will kill you, but they're fairly rare. And use a bit of our dragon tears in the big barrel of water. A single drop actually. So let's use our mug to take a bit of this dragon tear enhanced water. And with this special water we will put out these magical flames. Immediately goes out. That's how water can become more watery, by gaining the ability to extinguish magical flames. But anyway, get a strange engraving of a star against the back of the fireplace. So let's use our crest in it. Apparently now something's been turned on, so let's go all the way back down to the basement to see what effect our actions had. I wonder how that wizard guy in the dungeon is doing. I'm sure he feels a bit weird that the guy that arrived had been imprisoned for much less time than he has, managed to escape so quickly. Wonder if we'll ever see him again. So, having returned to the basement, the machinery that makes this door work is now active, which means we can pass, and now we have this place before us. So what is this here? Well, we won't get to find out because Lakmir decides to pop up right in our faces to talk to us again. Yes, I do wish my gift, you know, I've been putting up with your shit for a while now. And here's a true test, the maze, to confound our enemies. We need to follow the knights, but which knights? Well, Well, as far as I'm aware, the only way to get to the end of this is through trial and error. So, fortunately, I think I kinda remember what the order is that you have to follow. You walk up to these things and they teleport you. To different rooms, and if you pick the wrong order, you are teleported into a useless location. And maybe made to backtrack into a terrible place. Hello? There we go. Oh bloody hell, one moment.